another episode of The Man Space. Kunle and I are deeply honored and truly moved week after week to meet different gentlemen from different parts of the world, to hear their story, to share in their journey, and be the ones who support them in addition to their existing support system, to bring their voice, their message, and their dreams to the world so that we build a place that is safe, a space that is supportive, so that men can actually show up in a way that they can feel and speak and be. We live in a world where men are told that they shouldn't feel, they shouldn't dwell on their feelings, they shouldn't talk about it. In fact, if you ask for help, you're not really a man. And those are all social pressures that truly are unhelpful for young boys. And then as grown men, we are facing so much mental health scenarios, so many violent circumstances. All of this is because the volcano is erupting. If you suppress feelings, if you suppress how people are dealing with their internal situation, it will erupt just like a volcano. And we are dedicating this man space to prevent that, so that we talk about things, we create a safe place and space, and men have a place to freely transform. Take it away, Kunle.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaz. And today's episode of The Man's Space is definitely going to be another inspirational, interesting one, so to speak, because we have a guest who joins us from Nigeria, who is referred to as humanitarian guru. He's the founder of Boys Mentoring Advocacy Network in Nigeria, and he has been doing a lot in that space, holding on for the mental health of boys and also grooming them to becoming a great man or great men, so to speak, in the society. This is what our conversation will center around, to know why he's doing this and to also see how we can build our boys to men, just like the name of one group in the United States way back then called Boys to Men. Mr. Ola Akinwe, you're welcome to The Man's Space.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much. To start with, I want you to talk to us why you decided to pick it from that side, mentoring boys, and then what is really special about the boys. Why did you delve into that aspect in the first instance?
Oh, thank you. You see, for me, it's like both a professional calling and as well as personal conviction and from experience. I have worked in the educational industry for close to 22 decades. That's 20 years. And I've have interactions with young boys from elementary to grade 12. Precisely, I would say there was a message I received on the 24th of May, 2002 at about 5:47 a.m. in the morning. It appears it was a trance, and because this is a deeper question you asked for me to really brief you. And in that trance, I realized I found myself in a prison where boys were held captive. And in this prison, they were putting on a white apparel, gorgeously dressed. And anyone who has come for rescue or to rescue the boys, there are these 3 hefty security guards at the gate. What they are charged to do is to make sure that whoever comes to rescue these boys must be killed, because they have to be in that kind of prison for the rest of their life. What is this prison? The prison of ignorance. A lot of things were happening in that trance. And it got to a point, I realized that I'm already in the midst of these young boys. I told them I was going to let them go out of this prison. And what happened is that a lot of them had loved me because of the way I played with them and relate with them. They said, sir, we don't want you dead. Everyone who has come to rescue us from this prison, they die. These people are going to kill you. And I told myself right there, this is what dying for. I am going for you, and I'm going to let you guys out here today. And what happened next was that I advanced towards these three hefty men with their sword and charms all around them. Very scary. But I was just courageous enough that why I'm here is to let this guy out of this mess. And I approached these people, advanced towards them. All I could see was that there was just like a separation of the thick darkness as they get close to me. And as they tried to pierce the sword into me, I realized that they fell by mistake on the floor, the three of them. And before they could get up, the boys trampled them to death and will walk over them out. So I was lifted up in that trance. It didn't come to a full calling until 17th of, until the year 2017. And what happened in 2017? I enrolled a boy into grade 8 whose parents are struggling with life. And 2 to 3 weeks after this boy came into the institution, on my own expense or at my own expense, just to fund his education, this young boy was caught to have stolen from one of the classmates. And the institution law was that it's going on expulsion instantly. Automatically, it has to go on expulsion. But I realized that this is a young boy who had missed school for 3 years. And now he's got opportunity to find someone who could fund his education. Now he's caught to have stolen and is going to go off school again. So I went to the management board and I convinced them whatever it is, I want them to consider him for suspension for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks of suspension, I will ask him to come and see me in the office every day. So I have some words with him. It was in the process of trying to convince this. Prior before that, I rang the mom to let him know what happened. And the mom, who I was expecting to be the first person to show up into my office, unknown to me was the father that came. And this is the father I've never met. And the man looked at me and said, oh, Mr. Ola, my son had not stolen. I have stolen. And he knelt down and broke in tears. Said, whatever measure of punishment that is due for my son, if it requires me to come and clean the toilets of the school, just for my son to remain in school, I'm ready to do it. Whatever you can to convince the board, I don't want my son out of school again. I was touched with that. Seeing a man in his mid-year broken down in tears. And this happens to be his first son. So I persuaded the management team. They agreed. In 2 weeks, I got to know his background. This is a guy that went to one of the best elementary school in the East. The father was a middle manager in the communication company. When they relocated back to Lagos, they went to one of the best schools in Magodo area, Caleb precisely. And all of a sudden, he found himself back in a public school, from public school, out of school. Boy that has everything you can think of growing up, all of a sudden, milk disappears on the table. Beverages become something he cannot access anymore. And this is a boy that this is what he was used to, or what he's been cultivated or exposed to while growing up as a young boy. Despite that, I understand, this thing is not coming from the father. Maybe this guy still. There was a denial, there was a withdrawal. So I was able to persuade his classmates after 2 weeks and let them know the kind of childhood experience and opportunity he has had. Now he's been stripped of such opportunities. So what do we do? So it was pardoned. And after that, what I did was that I wrote a letter to all the parents in the school. Look, if you have a son, I will be running a mentoring program for boys every Friday. And why that? Because I realized that most of the boys having issues is because that there were no positive guide or safe places or influence in their life. This is what led to what we call Boys Mentoring Advocacy Network.
What a beautiful journey and very moving. What resonated for me, Ola, is the statement you made. This is something that's worth giving your life for, right? That truly is what value is. If you value something, if something is your core value, if you're not willing to bet your life on it, it was only a convenience, right? So the fact that this was that important to you and you were willing to bet everything, that is moving and inspiring all at the same time. So I now understand why you went down this path. How have you seen yourself change as you have mentored and given an opportunity for these young boys? Because you can't change, you can't touch a life and not be changed yourself in good ways and bad ways.
Yeah, thank you for that question. You know, when you said I was invited to the men's space, the first question I asked myself, who is a man? How do you define a man without understanding the definition of who a boy is? You know, most of us, we tend to not being able to have a definition of what a man should be or who a man should be. And this for me has been one of the things that working with boys have been able to help me to define. Now, for instance, let's start with the definition of, if I ask you who is the boy, a lot of things will come to mind. Maybe a biological male child, you know. But in my work with young boys, the first thing I went deep into is that what characteristics defines a boy? I want to know who a boy is. What is it like being a boy? Because most of the people I see that work with boys, you know, I'm not trying to. I feel like that the thing is that it's not on, it's on the surface, because the boy child is a biological male. The first thing is a biological male. Second thing that defines the boy is that he's immature. This boy is immature. The third thing is that he's a little brother and someone who lacks a sense of judgment, a good sense of judgment. Now, when you look at these four key areas, one is a biological male. Then he made the choice to become an adult male. That's his choice. Because from the universal design, or the way the universe designs it, it's only the only thing that the universe uses to become a man is a boy. Now, when you don't understand who a boy is, how does he become a man? So for us, the journey of a boy begins from one, he is a little brother. A man becomes a big brother. Now, if the boy is not having a big positive brother in his life, what happens? He have a misrepresentations of what brotherhood is like. Secondly, we said the boy is immature. Now, from the four zones of human development, both in the physical, spiritual, social, and mental, you find out that in these four dimensions of life, the boy child or the boy is immature. So what are we supposed to do as an organization? Provide tools that will help this young man to become matured physically, socially, emotionally, and mentally. What do we see? We have men who are matured physically, who are immature emotionally. Mental-wise, they are half-baked. So how do you expect society to look sane when there is no thorough maturity in the 4 dimensions of it? A lot of times, we focus more on physical and mental maturity. Oftentimes, we don't even do anything on the spiritual or the social or the emotion. And for sometimes we do a little bit about social. Then you now go to the last one, who lacks a very good sense of judgment. If you check now from your statistics in the world, how many men actually demonstrate a very good sense of judgment? Becomes a big problem. You and I know that. So what this accept means to be able to define who a boy is. A boy is a little brother, biological male, who is immature and lacks a very good sense of judgment. He lacks that. Now, who is a man? A man is an adult male who is a big brother, maintains a very good sense of judgment, maintains a very good sense of judgment, and who is emotionally matured, spiritually matured, physically matured, and socially matured. So this is what I have learned from this work.
That's been so amazing, what you are doing with the boys. I want you to quickly share with us how, young boys, or even men who are listening, who have young boys around, how they can, extend what you are doing to people within their community. How can we mentor these young boys? What are the key things that we need to do, knowing full well that they grow old and become the men in the society? What are the things they need to know? What are the things they need to do so that we build them together from that young age?
Yeah, thank you, KP. You see, I often use this illustration when I want to come into this space of where you are coming. Unfortunately, from time immemorial, one of the things I've found out that's very scarce in society is quality men. Because even in the days of the patriarch of Abraham, who was a kind of a confidence to God, he himself failed to develop, to mentor, to cultivate men who can preserve that generation. And we lost that generation. Isn't that what is happening in our society today? So you want to ask the question, where are the men? Where are the quality men? See, the truth is this. There's no boy child born behaving responsibly. And there's no boy child born behaving responsibly. The challenge of the boy child is an environment thing. And what I mean the environment, what sort of examples of men are they seeing every day? What are they exposed to? So the call for me is not even boys. The call is, can we find men that these boys can look up to, that become exemplary in their community? Do we have safe places in the community where the boys can go to? Do you have one in your community as we speak? You find that none. So when they don't have these safe places, what do you expect of them? When they don't have positive distractions, how would you tell them? How would you stop them from not joining gangs and all that?
That makes total sense, Ola. And what's coming up for me is twofold. One, if there are no male role models for boys to follow, and that's why we are facing what we're facing, how is that being different among women? Because girls have role models, but the mothers' lives are not always easy. What is that difference? and what can we take from that, lift and shift and apply, right? Is that a possibility? And with that, also let us know how people can get a hold of you, because we are coming towards the end and I want to make sure people have a way of getting a hold of you.
You see, let me bring this to you from the point of brain science. When you look at the boys and the girls, the way they mature is not at the same pace. Let me use that. A girl will come to maturity at the age of 11, half maturity at 11. Most likely, when she becomes 22, she is fully matured. In the first early year of the child, which is the first phase of life development, there's a lot of speedy emotional development that is often slowed down when it comes to the boy child. Now, when you look at the relationship between the mother and the son and the daughter, you find out that most times they want to spend time together, because whatever the mom is doing, he wants to take the girl along and make sure that she's learning all the basics, even from an early age. But where do you find the dad? He comes back home late in the night. He's away 2 weeks without coming home. You find that even the man is home, sometimes is absent. He's not connecting with the son. So you look at this from different parameters of why boys had issues. Then two, when you look at how boys are responded to, or being the way we respond to them at an infant age, it lets you understand that from infanthood, when the boy child cries, little attention is paid to him than when the girl child cries. Because obviously, when he's being neglected like that, at that point, he's looking at, why am I not giving the same kind of affection or the same kind of attention that people give to the girl child? In my study from this field, I found out that most of the problems that the young boy face when they become men are problems that began maybe way before they become 6 years old, because that is when the foundation have been laid. And that will lead me to my upcoming event, which is the FAST Festival. That's Father and Son Together Festival. And the theme for this year is Embrace the Bond, Global Hug for Boys, where father will pledge hug for their sons in order to create a father-son bonding, and also to create a hugathon all over the world, where people will spend where we dedicated 2 days, the first 2 days in August, just collecting hugs from father and sons to promote that bonding that I've been missing. I don't know of KP. I never received a hug from my dad all through my life till he passed on. And this means a whole lot to me. I still crave for this right now. So do we care for our boys? Do we give them the attention they need, the affection they need, the body they require? I would say not as it's been done for the girls.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ola. It's been so expository. It's been so inspiring. And I'm sure people who are, watching now want to see how they can reach out to you either online and in so many ways whereby they can get hold of you. You can let that out now.
Yeah, if you want to connect with us online, just go to Boys Mentoring Advocacy Network and Boys Mentoring Advocacy Network, BMAN. You can reach out to www.bmanadvocacy.org, Our Facebook is Boys Mentoring Advocacy Network, BMAN. We are on LinkedIn at BMAN Advocacy. We are on Instagram as Boys Mentoring Advocacy Network. And if you are in Nigeria, you want to reach out to me, it's +234 802 301 0608. And if you want to reach me on email, you can reach out to me, Ola Akinwe at bmanadvocacy.org or Ola Akinwe at gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Ola Akinwe. I like that name.
Thank you.
It just rolls off my tongue. Thank you so much for the work you do. Thank you so much for holding space and helping boys, because helping boys is the only way we can have strong men in the community. And every woman wants a strong man, so we have to invest in this journey. We definitely have to invest in this journey, because a society with just one gender is not going to work. We have to have both genders equally viable, equally strong, equally mature and accountable, so that life becomes viable. And to our audience out there, if you need guidance, if you need tips, if you're wondering how you can impactfully raise a boy, and the boy doesn't even have to be your own child, it could be your niece, it could be your neighbor's child, they're all our children. Reach out to Ola, reach out to other resources, because it's going to take all of us. It's really going to take all of us around the world to lift our boys up so that they can become strong men that our world needs. Our world needs resiliently strong men who are kind, compassionate, and who are self-aware, as much as we need women with those same qualities, in addition to being nurturing and maternal.